In today's video, we are about to begin an incredible journey. We will explore 4.6 billion years of history in just 30 minutes. Yes, you heard that right. We will see how our Earth was born, through fire, boiling lava, and violent collisions from space. Then we will travel to the era when dinosaurs ruled the planet and witness their terrifying end. But the story doesn't end there. We will discover how tiny creatures eventually evolved into human ancestors, how humans left Africa and spread across the world, and finally, we will walk through the mysterious streets of the Indus Valley civilization whose secrets still remain unsolved. If you enjoy research-based documentaries like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because creating videos like these takes a lot of time and effort. Now imagine the Earth from 1.5 billion years ago, a world of complete silence. No footsteps, no animals, and no humans. The beautiful Earth we see today was once a burning sphere. Volcanoes erupted everywhere, red lava flowed like rivers, and the sky was filled with smoke and ash. There was no sign of rain, only fire and storms ruled the planet. Then, for millions of years, relentless rain poured down and slowly cooled the burning surface. So much rain fell that massive oceans were formed. But even then, breathing was impossible because the air was filled with poisonous gases. There was no oxygen at all. And then, deep within those oceans, a miracle happened. Life began. Tiny microorganisms started to develop in the water. Among them were some that slowly began producing oxygen. This was the turning point that changed Earth forever. The air started to become cleaner, plants began to grow, dense forests appeared, and the world slowly became livable. Millions of years later, a new era began, an era ruled by giant creatures we call dinosaurs. Around 230 million years ago, during the Triassic period, the first dinosaurs appeared. Surprisingly, in the beginning, they were very small, some as small as a fox. They were fast and agile hunters. Over millions of years, nature began to reshape them. Their size, strength, and structure changed. Some dinosaurs became herbivores and grew enormous bodies to reach tall trees for food. Others became deadly predators with sharp claws and teeth like saws. As time passed, dinosaurs spread across the entire planet. From dense forests to high mountains, the Earth belonged to them. They had everything they needed: abundant food, open land, and power. Nature gave them everything. But every golden era eventually comes to an end. Gradually, dinosaurs became the undisputed rulers of Earth, just like humans today. But a massive turning point was approaching. Over time, many dinosaurs grew into gigantic creatures, some as large as mountains. This was truly the age of giants. During the Jurassic period, some dinosaurs broke every record of size. One famous example was Brachiosaurus, about 85 feet long and weighing over 40 tons. It must have looked like a moving palace. And then came Titanosaurus, even more massive. If it lay down in a field, its body could cover an entire football ground. Their long necks allowed them to reach leaves from the tallest trees, like someone plucking fruit from a 10-story building. Their huge size helped them defend against predators and access food from great heights. Imagine a peaceful forest where the footsteps of a Titanosaurus echo from a distance. It would feel as if the Earth itself were trembling. With every step, the ground shook, and clouds of dust rose into the air. This was the golden age of powerful giants. But every golden age has an end. About 65 million years ago, a massive, uninvited guest from space began racing toward Earth. It was a gigantic asteroid, about 10 to 15 kilometers wide, and it was about to change Earth's destiny forever. This asteroid was no ordinary rock. It was traveling at nearly 70,000 kilometers per hour, so fast that if you saw it in the sky, everything would be over in the blink of an eye. Then came the impact. The asteroid struck near present-day Mexico. Within thousands of kilometers, everything turned to ash instantly. The earth shook violently. Massive tsunamis rose in the oceans. Forests, mountains, and rivers were destroyed. The world that once belonged to dinosaurs turned into a burning inferno. Many dinosaurs died instantly. Those who survived the initial blast faced a slow and painful end. Darkness covered the sky. Hunger and freezing temperatures took over. Plants died, flowers withered, and thick smoke blocked sunlight for months. The world fell silent, as if life itself had surrendered. This event is considered one of the most devastating extinctions in history. The dinosaurs that ruled for millions of years were ultimately helpless against a rock from space. But this was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of a new chapter. After months, when the dust and darkness finally cleared, the world had changed. The giant predators were gone. The stage of nature was empty, ready for new life. This marked the beginning of the age of mammals. Small mouse-like creatures that once hid from dinosaurs began to emerge. Gradually, the climate improved and greenery returned. These small mammals began to evolve. Some started living in trees. Others ran across the land. Their brains and bodies grew larger as they searched for food and adapted to new environments. In the dense forests of Africa, primates appeared. These were the ancestors of monkeys, gorillas, and eventually humans. Around 25 million years ago, Africa's geography began to change. Mountains rose and the climate cooled. Dense forests started shrinking and vast grasslands appeared. Creatures that lived in trees were forced to come down to the ground in search of food. This led to a revolutionary change, walking on two legs. This bipedal movement was the first step toward becoming human. Over time, evolution continued. Around 300,000 years ago, in East Africa, a unique species emerged, Homo sapiens, modern humans. But we were not alone. Other human-like species also existed, such as Homo erectus and Homo habilis. Yet Homo sapiens were different. Our brains were larger and more advanced. We could imagine, plan, and think ahead. Our bodies were suited for endurance, running long distances, and using our hands with precision. Early humans lived in forests and caves. They had no permanent homes. Their lives revolved around finding food and staying alive. They lived in small groups, sharing responsibilities. Some hunted, some gathered fruits and roots, and others cared for children. They had no formal language, no religion, no laws. Only three things mattered: hunger, fear of death, and the determination to survive. Over time, they learned to make tools from stone and weapons from wood. This was the beginning of a journey that would take them out of Africa and across the world. Life was harsh. Food was uncertain. Sometimes they went days without eating. Hunting was dangerous. But these struggles taught them to observe carefully, listen closely, and understand their surroundings. The forest became their school. Then came a major turning point: the cognitive revolution. Humans began to think beyond the present. They could imagine the future, create plans, and communicate complex ideas. Language was born. With language came storytelling, beliefs, and shared ideas. These stories allowed large groups of people to unite and cooperate. Humans began creating art on cave walls, scenes of hunting, mysterious symbols, and early expressions of belief. They were no longer just surviving. They were thinking, remembering, and understanding the world. Eventually, humans left Africa and spread across the globe into Asia, Europe, Australia, and eventually the Americas. This journey was not easy. They faced harsh climates, dangerous animals, and unfamiliar lands. But humans adapted everywhere. In cold regions, they wore animal skins and used fire. In deserts, they traveled at night and searched for water. In forests and mountains, they found new ways to survive. Everywhere they went, they adapted. This ability to adapt became humanity's greatest superpower. When early humans encountered other human species like Neanderthals and Denisovans, They didn't just fight, they also lived together and formed families. Modern humans today still carry small percentages of Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA, showing that our history is deeply interconnected. From small groups struggling to survive in African forests, humans became a species that spread across the entire planet. They faced ice ages, extreme climates, and countless challenges, but they endured. And this incredible journey from a burning planet to the rise of humans and ancient civilizations is the story of how we came to be.